What's up everybody, Ramey here, and today what we're talking about are Rogue's black matte sleeves. You can see that I've actually got black matte sleeves on two barbells, a Bella bar and a grab bag aggro, and then I've got Rogue Chrome, I've got Rogue Zinc sleeves. So I'm going to talk about the black matte sleeves, whether I like them, what do I like or dislike about them, and whether I think you should buy them or not, and whether I think they're worth it. The black matte sleeves are sort of new by Rogue. They used to coat their black sleeves in Cerakote, which if you're watching this, you know that, or I should just tell you, Cerakote is terrible on sleeves because Cerakote chips. And you're literally, like, especially if you use metal plates, like grinding the sleeve each time you put plates on and off. So you're just chipping Cerakote off by using the sleeves. So Cerakote is a terrible finish for sleeves. So Rogue decided to come up with their own proprietary blend to create a different type of sleeve that would still have that cool black finish. As described by Rogue, our proprietary black matte finish is one of the most durable treatments because it converts the surface of the steel rather than coating it, meaning this isn't a coating. They have changed the surface of the steel. The treatment hardens the surface of the steel to further improve durability. So two good positive things here that I hear when I read that is that it's not a coating. They've changed the surface of the steel. So that's more in line with stainless steel, which is not a coating either, or bare, which is bare steel. So they haven't coated anything, so that's good. The next thing is that it adds to durability, which is also positive, assuming it really does that. Because we know that, like, coatings, like, well, stainless steel isn't a coating, but stainless steel sleeves are softer. So stainless steel isn't always the greatest thing on sleeves because it is a softer metal. It doesn't affect most people, but it can. And I've heard some manufacturers say that they'd rather not use stainless steel on sleeves for that reason. So those are some positive things that I read about when I see Rogue black matte sleeves. So let's I want to show you guys me taking plates on and off these things, but before I do that, I want to kind of talk about some of the history of these sleeves that I've seen happen. So these sleeves are sort of new, as I said. About a year ago, when Rogue was people were starting to buy these sleeves, maybe like a year and a half ago, around that time. When these sleeves first came out, there were a lot of complaints about them, and the complaints were pretty harsh. And the complaints were that the plates weren't fitting the sleeves. And I think what happened is Rogue, unfortunately, was perfecting the process and using us as beta testers. And I think there were some problems early on. I can 100% tell you that Rogue changed the process. If you paid attention to last Christmas, they had a bunch of sales on their black matte sleeves, like their Ohio Power Bar was like $100 off and stuff like that, because they got rid of those. I'm surprised they weren't Boneyard or grab bags, but anyway, they sold them. And they mostly were discounted. So there were a lot of complaints. So if you're looking online about the black matte sleeves, there are a lot of complaints from like a year ago. Now, which is like 2021. 2022. So if you see a lot of complaints from like 2022, early 2023, know that Rogue has changed how they make them. So I'm kind of talking about like the changed ones here. So the first thing that Rogue has done is that they have put these through their machining process more than their regular sleeves. What that means is that there are the lines. So you know how Rogue has famous for their ribbed sleeves? The black matte finish has the grooves are not as deep. You probably can't hear that. You probably can hear that. Can't really hear that. The grooves are not as deep on the sleeves. Even zooming in, I'm not going to tell because you can still see the grooves, but they're not nearly as deep. What that means is that it's a lot quieter when I put plates on and off. I'll show you. What it also means is what I think Rogue has done is that by putting these through the machining process a little more, since they were having some issues at first, the sleeves on the black matte are actually, my plates slide on and off a lot easier now than they do on my Ohio bar, Ohio Power Bar, or Ohio deadlift bar. The sleeves actually slide on and off much easier. So I'm going to show you a little test of me sliding these plates on and off. I'll just use my Ohio power bar and my aggro bar and just to show you an example. So let me do that real quick. All right, so I'm going to slide some plates on and off my two sleeves here. I've got my black mat aggro bar and I've got my Rogue Ohio power bar. As you know, these are both power bars, so it's a much more better comparison, even though this one's more aggro. They're both stainless steel power bars as well, versus chrome. So we've got chrome Ohio power bar sleeves and black mat sleeves. All right, so I'm going to do two different plates. I'll show you I'm doing two 10 pounds. I'm not going to do 45 because I'm like kind of sitting at like an odd angle, but you'll kind of get the picture. I've got a 10-pound York steel plate, and I've got a Rogue 10-pound plate. I actually noticed the difference much more with these because there's less weight. So I got to push a little more on my sleeves, which is one of the reasons I like to use these 10-pounders to test that sleeve thing. So first, let's do my Ohio power bar. You can see that it slides on, but I feel hiccups. I actually have to push down. When I do this, I feel hiccups. Especially if it's like angled a little bit, I've got some good hiccups here. It fits on my Ohio power bar chrome sleeve, but I've noticed the sleeve tolerance on this, it's pretty tight. Whenever I put weights on and off, I notice a difference, especially when I'm using my change plates. It is very tight getting these things on. Now, so that's rubber. Let me show you the black mat. I mean, there's just a difference in sound there. I mean, as I pull quick, I feel sticking points there. I do not feel that here. It's like a smooth. It almost feels like it's a smooth sleeve on and off. Such a better tolerance on the 10-pound. Let's take a look at the metal, just to show you the metal as well. As I said, this is a 10-pound York. Ooh, that's a loud noise. Slides on and off perfectly fine. The sound is so much more pronounced on this bar. So these are much quieter, which is just a huge advantage. I'm actually surprised because based on the reviews that I saw online of these sleeves, around like Christmas 2022 when Rogue put the Ohio power bar with the black mat sleeves $100 off and tons of people were buying it and there were all these problems, I was expecting the worst. And now I have two bars with it and they're both like perfect, which is kind of funny. Now obviously I have the new version of the sleeve, so that makes a big difference. But anyway, let's get back to the comparison. All right, so now that I've shown you that, we're back here and I want to talk about, do I recommend these sleeves or do I think you should get like chrome or zinc or stainless steel? So if I was buying a Rogue barbell right now, a brand new one, and I was comparing sleeves, if I like the color of the black sleeves, and I actually think this color really looks awesome in real life, especially on my stainless steel bar. The black sleeves with stainless steel bar looks awesome. I personally, right now, think that this is probably the best sleeve finish Rogue offers. The issues with chrome that you have is that chrome can crack and chip, and Rogue had some problems with chrome. Certain companies use hard chrome, which is a much higher quality, which is not going to crack or chip easily. Rogue's is not the greatest, so I personally try to avoid their chrome sleeves when possible, even though I literally have two bars with it. Zinc is fine, it's just not going to be as protected as something like chrome or black matte or stainless. I think Rogue stainless is a great option. I think if you like the silver on silver, either bare or stainless are the way to go. So obviously if you get bare, you got to maintain it a little more with oil, but I think bare is always a great option. I think stainless is a great option too, Just be aware the steel is a little softer for sleeves, and I have seen certain manufacturers say they don't really prefer stainless for that reason, but obviously stainless is not going to rust, and but you are paying a lot more money for stainless sleeves. So that's always something, those are some things to consider. If you like the color of the black, hands down, I wouldn't hesitate to get this. I have 2 bars with it. I really, really, really like it a lot. I think it looks cool. I think it feels better than Rogue's other sleeves. Like the grooves are so much less shallow. My plates slide on and off easier than my Ohio Power Bar. I think the problems they had in the past are past. I think they fixed them. Rogue has fixed the problem. So assuming Rogue fixed the problems, these sleeves are actually great. And I know they kind of have a bad reputation online now because of that. And I hate saying I feel bad for Rogue because I'm not the biggest Rogue fan, even though I have a bunch of their barbells. But the sleeves are really not, like I have 2 of them, so I'm like comparing 2 different bars with them, and they're really good. So like, I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm not getting the same experience that people did. And I know Rogue did change the process to make them more smoother and do some other things like that in early 2023 when they realized there were so many complaints online. So like, I don't think you should hesitate to get the black matte sleeves. I think if you like the color, go for it. They're super cool. They look, I mean, I just really like the way they look. I love the way these look on my rack with this aggro, like that's super cool. I like the way they feel, and they're pretty nice sleeves. So I wouldn't hesitate to buy them. I like them. I think they're one of Rogue's better finishes now. All right, later everybody.